Hello guys, Pancakes here, and we have a game of free-for-all on Rundown. And this game I use the ACR with Silencer. Perks are what I always use, which are Scavenger, Stopping, Power, and Ninja. All of them, of course, the Pro version. And I talked about a lot of free-for-all strategy in my last free-for-all game, which was on Skid Row. And if you haven't seen that one, I'd recommend watching it because I do give a lot of tips that have helped me personally, be successful in free-for-all games. And this game, I kind of try to use those same strategies. And for those of you who haven't seen that last video, I will reiterate those points. One thing you have to understand about free-for-all is that the spawn system is sometimes pretty bad, and as a result of that, in a game where you got 7 other players who are spawning around you, but not in any sort of pattern because you don't have a team, it can be very difficult, and it's not uncommon at all for an enemy to spawn right behind you. And as a result of that, a good strategy is to try to stick to the edge of the map, or at the very least the edge of a building. And I think the best way to try to avoid getting flanked or getting shot from the side or something is to try to keep as much of your body by a wall, or at the very least unexposed from enemy sight. And this is obviously very commonsensical. I know a lot of people probably already say, well, this is obvious, Mr. Pancakes. why are you telling us this? And I'll tell you why. As obvious as it might seem, and as commonsensical as it may seem, I can't tell you how often I see people in free-for-all go running straight down the middle of the map, and, well, obviously they get killed. And the fact that so many people are doing that kind of shows that, as obvious as it may seem, some people still, I don't know if they just, they're not thinking, or what it may be, but, my goal in making this video is to hopefully make people. I mean, some of you guys might be those people who go running down the middle of the map, and if you're one of those people, hopefully this video can help you to get better. And as you can see here, I'm really picking an area of the map, and what I see is I already have a 5 kill streak here, and I don't want to get killed because one thing you have to understand about free-for-all is that getting air support is incredibly helpful. Incredibly helpful. And if you can get a Harrier or then a Pavlo up or something like that, you will find actually that those can really get a lot of kills. And I know people like Hutch have mentioned this already, and it's definitely true, and that's that in free-for-all, it's not very often that people will actually shoot down your air support, and so you could very easily call in a Harrier or a Pavlo or a chopper gunner or whatever you may use, and it probably won't get shot down. That's a big probably. And I think actually this game somebody shoots down my chopper gunner, and I do use a chopper gunner this match, and I don't remember exactly, it's been a while since I've watched this match, but generally speaking, it's not very common for them to shoot down your air support. And what I talked about in my last free-for-all game was also this idea of patrolling, and that is to pick a region of the map and make it your own. Some people might call this camping. They're entitled to their opinion. There seems to be a lot of varying opinions of what is camping. Some people think camping is sitting in a corner and not moving, which is kind of more of my definition of camping. And some people consider camping not running around the map. And in free-for-all, unless you get lucky, and it does take a lot of luck. This is a very luck-based game, and some people will disagree with that. But the spawns and connection makes a difference. If you're a 2-bar against a 4-bar, even if you have the better shot, the better reaction time, and everything, you can still get killed simply because your shots don't register. And things like that tend to make rushing people head-on a very risky and unpredictable tactic. And that's kind of why, in this game, defensive play is so effective. And I know some people, I've had people say things like, oh, well, I've gone 56-1 once running around the map, and I'm not saying that you didn't, I'm sure, but one thing that is pretty agreed upon is that very, very rarely will you find people who can get scores like that consistently. If they're constantly sprinting around the map like a madman, and the idea is not to camp, because if you camp, you're not going to get the kills, and you're not going to win. And free-for-all is certainly a very different game type than, say, team deathmatch or domination. And in those game types, you can be very aggressive and maybe get away with it because you do have a team to fall back on. But in free-for-all, because the spawns are so random and because you don't have a team to fall back on, you have to play it differently. You have to play a lot more carefully and a lot more defensively. And that is, of course, if you want a good score. If you don't care about that, then just play how you want to play. But I'm trying to give advice as to how you can get better scores consistently. And in terms of rundown, this is also a pretty tricky map because there are so many buildings. And as you guys know, with a building, not building, but a map with a lot of buildings, it also means a lot of windows, a lot of balconies, and a lot of camping spots. And especially in a game like free-for-all where you don't have a team or anything, it becomes extremely dangerous to be out in the open. Extremely dangerous. In fact, I'd say 9 times out of 10 it'll get you killed. So you will see that I kind of try to stay away from areas like that. And I do think that this game is as much a tactical shooter as it is a skill-based shooter. And I think you can't have one without the other. You can't, even if you play strategically, you're not necessarily going to do very well if you can't aim, and vice versa. And I think a lot of people, they kind of get impatient and they forget how to play tactically. And this game definitely requires a lot of patience. And really, any game that you can die in 2 shots in becomes sort of like a game of hide and seek. And it really becomes more of a matter of outsmarting the opponent. I cannot talk. It becomes more a matter of outsmarting the opponent than it does actually just sprinting around the map and trying to outgun everybody. It's definitely very strategic in that sense. And that's just kind of how the shooter is. That's kind of how it was designed. And I do believe that Infinity Ward did want this game to be more strategic. I mean, look how the maps were designed, look at the different, perks they gave and things like that. And so hopefully, if you can be patient, and that's really what it is patience. If you can follow some of the strategies I outlined, hopefully that can allow you to do, better. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Channel's in the description if you guys want to check that out. I got a lot of videos on there as well. And thanks for watching.